I grew up in South Dakota, and I found out my mom and my dad weren't my real parents at the age of 11. So I started running away, and I was looking for my real mom, wanting to know why she never came to see me. And I started experimenting with marijuana and drinking, still searching. I started getting thoughts of suicide, and I started becoming a cutter. And I would cut myself because I wanted to meet my mom so bad. And I knew I was from Cloquet, Minnesota, so I decided that I wanted to go to Cloquet to find her. And I found my brother, and so that was a blessing. And so we went to Duluth, and he dropped me off with her. And I took her home, and she was highly intoxicated, but I was so excited to meet her. I started catering to her and calling her mom. And I just kept looking at her. But she had threatened to kill me and the family that came with me down there. I got highly angry, and I hit her. I slapped her, and I left, and I didn't know how to feel after that. I felt excited because I got to meet her, but I still felt empty because of the way she said that. So I left it alone until my children were born, and I wanted to go back in November. It was in November for Thanksgiving, to take my children to meet her. And so I did that, and I found out, I started looking for her again. And I found my sister this time, and she had told me that my mom had passed away, and she passed away the same year that I met her. When I found out my mom passed away, it was when I moved to St. Paul, and my life just went downhill from there. I attempted to go to treatment on many occasions, but did not go all the way through with it. And then I met my daughter's dad, and it was a very, at first it was like a friendship relationship, and then we got more serious, and the abuse started. He was very physical, abusive, emotional, mentally, all of the above in an abusive relationship. So finally I eventually got the strength to say, okay, it's time to let you go. I was in love with him, and I had the daughter, so but I still had enough because my daughter didn't, as well as myself, didn't have to deal with that. So I had him leave, and just the heart that I have, that God gave me, I felt bad, even though I knew it was the best thing. I went and picked him up, and I went to my sister's house, me, him, and Talia, and I started drinking, and so I told him to stay sober so he could watch Talia. And he ended up going and getting a bottle that I didn't realize that he had went and got. And we started arguing, and I just told him I didn't want him anymore, that he had to leave when we got back. And he ended up stabbing me. And he stabbed himself. And I didn't know what really happened. I just knew that I was running down the hallway. So they found my daughter in a pool of blood, standing by her dad. And that made my drinking even more powerful, because I blamed myself for all of it. Like, why didn't I leave sooner? Why did I put my baby in that position? I gave up on life. I tried to go to treatment. It lasted for almost a year, 10 months. And then those last 3 years has been my worst, where I was on the streets, in the stairwells. When I ended up in the hospital on April 4th, the experience that I had there by ending up in intensive care, and was very, very ill, is not when I started praying, it was when I got out. And just looking around, not feeling well, is when I realized that I couldn't do this on my own. that I needed help, and I knew exactly where to look. So I just started praying, and I gave it to him to take. Looking back at my past and seeing when I prayed before, the blessings that I had, and that now my eyes are open clearly, and I thank God for that, knowing now that he was right beside me. The whole time I just didn't have my eyes open enough, and now they are, and it feels so good. That's why I'm crying, because it feels so awesome to be where you feel like your life is falling apart and your egg hatches. That's what I was talking about. Like, I feel like a baby bird because I was in a dark place, and I broke through the shell, and I am open to the light now, and have faith that I'm going to have the wings to fly so that I can help everybody else that needs their wings too. So that's how I came to Breakthrough, and it's been a great experience since I started going and since I stopped drinking. I started letting a lot of resentments go that I've been carrying. I left them at the altar. Pastor Dave said that they would offer to help me get an apartment. But I was already in the process with an apartment. And I also still had this thing where I could do it on my own. I've always been that way, is to give it to him now. So I have a new family, and it feels great from being seen like lost your whole life to finding yourself and finding what your purpose was. It's awesome.